Let's go, Philly. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new podcast right here on PHLY called The Cheap Seats. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to list it out. Number one, this is the first time I've been behind a microphone in 4 years. I feel like this is back at home for me. I can't wait to get into it. Number two, happy to be here at PHLY. And I want to thank everybody here for putting this little idea that I pitched to you, putting it all together. Everyone from the Cuz to Vince to our beautiful producer, Julia, who's back behind the scenes. You'll hear her voice. Don't worry about it. Next, I'm excited that bird season is finally here. Guys, in 2 days, we got a game coming up. The season is officially here. We got a lot to get into, okay? And there's a ton to get into. We're going to try to cram it into 60 minutes. We might go a little over. But first and foremost, item 1A, I am excited to announce my co-host for this show and who's going to be taking you every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on this little tour from the view from the cheap seats. First and foremost, my guy who has taken every single job that I've ever applied for in Philadelphia sports media, has taken it, but somehow I still call him a friend, and I'm honored to have him sitting directly to my left. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Ashworth. Jason, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. Let's be clear. You've gifted me those jobs. You're a good friend. You gifted me those jobs.
I didn't lob you anything, dog.
You might have. You know, dude, honestly, it's I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to. I tell you this all the time. Anytime somebody gives me a mic and lets me chop it up, gives me an opportunity to talk, I'm going to jump on that. Dude. So first and foremost, I mean, thank you, PHLY. Thank you, EROCK, for having me. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun. And I brought in this next gentleman because he brings the fun. He brings the energy. He brings the enthusiasm. And working with him on his pod for the last 2 years and being a guest on it, he brings the knowledge above everything. You've heard him on Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio. Mr. Black Gritty, how we doing today?
This is a no fun zone, gentlemen. Strictly business. Before we started the show, they wanted me to have energy. I've saved my energy for you guys. I see these guys talk to them all the time. The group text is too much. But you guys get the energy. Oh, give me the energy, BG. Fist bump me in the air. No, sir. I save it for the live show. Now go ahead and let's get this thing popping. Now we got to get down to Brazil where it's safe.
Pre-show, we were trying to give Ian and I were trying to give bumps and you wouldn't have any
That's all right. That's right. It's the first show, Kinks. We all got to work through it. And you just mentioned Brazil. And we got to we didn't get a ramp up to the season, right? So normally at this point, we would have talked about season predictions and gone through the schedule game by game and circled the wins and losses and what it might be. But one of the biggest topics that has been since this game has been announced is the fact that the Eagles are, now granted they're making history being the first team, one of two first teams to play a game in South America. But what are your feelings about, we're sitting here in Philly getting ready for a home game and it's not home. What are your guys' feeling on just the Birds playing in Brazil?
I mean, it's football, right? It's week one. So whether it's look, unlike you, I'm not a big go to the stadium guy. I'm a stay at home in my basement, watch the game. Yeah. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered by anybody. Eat my own food, use my own bathroom type guy, right? That's me. So it doesn't make a difference. It's week one for me. I don't like the idea. I don't like all the hoopla surrounding it. I don't like all the noise surrounding it, the distractions surrounding it in terms of, we don't want to go to Brazil and play, or we're worried about this, or the color of the uniform and all that jazz. I want to focus on football. I'm excited that it's week one and we can put all the talk to bed and actually get on the field and see what happens. But it's unfortunate that it being in Brazil has taken a little bit of the attention off the game of football and onto all the outside noise, which obviously players are paying attention to, unfortunately.
I don't really care at all. The only thing I care about is that we're missing a home game. I know we want to expand the game. I get why teams do it. I get playing overseas when baseball teams or when anybody does. I get it. Other people want to see the product that we have, and they want to feel that product. And you also want to make money. So I fully understand why you're doing it. But when it's my team and we're losing the home game, even if I don't go to the game, it still makes me feel some sort of way just because of I know that in a city like Philadelphia, that means something. And this is no shot to some of these other teams. You know what I mean? Like you can go down to Miami. There's other things to do in Miami, the nightlife and everything else like that. They're not tailgating at 4 o'clock in the morning waiting to go on the day of. So when you take a home game away from Philadelphia, like you're going to the link. There's no game there. I'm guaranteeing there's going to be like 20,000 people in the parking lot pre-gaming for a game that's not even there because that's how much we care about it. So that's the only part that bothers me. Everything else is just talk and nonsense. I love Dom, but also Dom's got me a little annoyed because he done scared the life out of everybody that plays on the Eagles. The way they're talking is just like, you should stay inside, keep the door shut. And that's his job, to keep them out of trouble. Yeah. It's more so that I feel to keep them out of trouble than there is the dangers of Brazil. The world's a dangerous place, but it's like, look, let's stay inside. Let's not go out and party and do anything crazy.
Right.
Let's just focus on the game.
So all that aside, and you're right, I completely agree with everything you said, but that aside, I mean, for you guys, is it not too much talk? Is it not too much? I mean, you're hearing captains of the team come out and have expressed concern about going to Brazil, why they don't want to go to Brazil. Everything that we're hearing currently, at least from the Eagles side of it, is about players and media reporting that how much they don't want to play this game in Brazil. Is that all concern to you? I mean, how do you interpret that?
No, well, I interpreted I understand what they're doing up there. When they tell the team collectively, and this goes for players, coaches, assistants, anybody that's going down there, meaning internal media, like they're not happy. They're not happy that they have to play down there at all. That's a long flight. It's a tiresome flight. It's on a Friday. It's not what you want to do when you are trying to unveil a new team, start the season off on the right foot, is go down there and travel. But at the same time, like one of the don'ts when Smitty was talking about, or AJ was talking about, there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and Smitty was like, no comment. One of the things they can't do is like try to piss off the fans in Brazil, because this is for y'all. Like I got a lot of DMs and messages when this game was announced, and they were talking about the green thing, and you can't wear it because of gangs and all that, which, by the way, is not true. The green thing has to do with the rival opposing, like the Dallas Cowboys of their football, like soccer. Mm-hmm. That's what wears green. By the way, smart play for the Philadelphia Eagles to be wearing black and white.
Oh, no doubt.
They're the home team. They get to choose the uniform.
That's the home team's color down there.
That's the home team's color. We're going to let the other team wear the green, so you automatically, if you're not familiar with the Eagles or the Packers of the game, or you're wearing somebody else's jersey, Brazil fans, you automatically know who to boo. Yeah. So it was a smart play by them.
I'm just ready to get to the game because, to be honest with you, I don't like the talk about it. I don't like the focusing on what you don't want to. You're going to win a football game. Right. You're going to play the Green Bay Packers. I don't think the Packers want to do it any more than the Eagles do.
The Packers are talking way less than the Eagles are. And if that's the case, then just listen to Jalen Hurts and don't listen to anybody else. Happy to be there. Correct. Proud to be there. The fans are passionate. We're going there. We're doing it for them. If that would have been the message from the jump, I think everybody else would have fallen in line. Smitty obviously knew better by saying what he said.
No comment. He just got straight to it.
And everybody else, like I said, like when you hear the things, it was more for, I believe, to just not go out there and get in trouble. It's the same thing like when you go to the Super Bowl and you're in Vegas. Mm-hmm. They're telling you there's scammers, there's robbers, there's all this kind of stuff. Don't go outside. All-Star weekend in the NBA. You think Brazil's rough? Go to any all-star city during NBA week and find out how quick you can get robbed or your fake little chain, okay? So Brazil's fine. Love Brazil. Shout out to Brazil. Let's go get this George W.
Yeah, just get a W.
So now that we put the Brazil thing behind us, I'm not a huge fan that they're down there, but it's like, what can you do? They're trying to get that international reach. I get it. It sucks when it's your team, but otherwise we enjoy it.
Did you get a discount on that season ticket rate? They gave you
no,
5% off?
Listen.
They gave 5% off? What happened?
Listen, there ain't no discount on the season ticket rate. Absolutely not. But we're getting down to Brazil. We're getting ready for this game, and it's finally, I feel like a bunch of questions are finally about to be answered. All the hype, all the free agent acquisitions, everything that the Eagles have done all the overhauls and all the changes that they've made. Give me what you think is going to happen during this game What are you going to see? What are you looking for? Give it to me.
This one specifically?
Yes.
Honestly, I think it's going to be whoever scores the most points, and I don't mean that meaning obviously whoever scores the most points wins the football game. I think defense isn't going to matter a lick on both sides. To me, I look at the Eagles and I say their Achilles heel is the defense. You look at the Packers, and obviously they're switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3. New DC doesn't have any experience in the NFL. They're going to have to find their way as well. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. So I think both teams have, especially the Eagles, have the ability to light up a scoreboard. We'll see if they can do that. Everybody's fallen in love with Jordan Love prematurely, I might add, but they can put up some points. For me, it's just going to be normally where the offense starts slow and the defense kind of carries the team in the first few weeks. I think it's going to be the flip. I think you're going to see some points on the board, and it's who's last standing. Or just to be honest with you, throw it out the window and it's just sloppy on both sides. Take a 10-hour flight, week one, both teams working stuff out, and it's just an ugly-ass game. One of those two. Which
it could be. I mean, everyone talks about Vic Fangio and a new defensive system, a lot of new defensive faces, some defensive faces that we're used to seeing there that aren't there anymore, like Fletcher Cox. Is Jalen Carter going to be able to step it up and kind of fill that role? Like, let's not forget, the Packers are in the same position. They got a new DC too. Mm-hmm. So it could be just as equally as sloppy.
Well, not on offense. They have LaFleur. They have consistency on one side of the ball where we don't right now, other than special teams. Special teams like our consistency.
You're talking about the Packers have consistency.
Yeah, the Packers have consistency on offense. So I expect them to come out and try and light it up. But at the same time, they're all the things that we have a problem with, whether we said it and they didn't, are the same. You've got that travel. You're in a non-positive, hostile environment, and they have a lot of young players. They got a lot of young guys. Like, all our young guys are on defense. Yeah. They got young guys on both sides of the ball, new defense. So I expect tons of sloppy play, high scoring. But when it comes down to the end of that game, I expect and hope that the pressure gets to them and that younger core, because LaFleur is my only problem with his consistency. That offense worries me.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because we talk about we started off, hey, we're playing in Brazil. The game's in Brazil. It's not a real home game. The reality is everything that the Eagles have stacked against them in terms of travel, jet lag, beginning of the season, got to deal with whatever you want to talk about in Brazil outside of football, right? Whether true or not. But the Packers got to deal with the same stuff. The Packers are in the same exact situation. Yeah. They've got to deal with the same amount of challenges that the Eagles have to deal with. So for me, I don't care how it gets done. I don't even care if it's sloppy. It's week one. You're going to work through some things, kind of figure out where you are on both sides of the ball. Get out of that with a W. Tell me that through all the challenges and hurdles, my group of 53 did a better job at dealing with it than your 53. So for week one, circumstances that are involved, this is one of those games where I can look at it and say, I don't care how, just get the W. Tell me you did a better job at dealing with adversity or the challenges or circumstances than the other guys did.
Which will be a stark contrast from the way the friggin' season ended. And we are now turning the page. Like officially.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like you just did.
Well, no,
you went right back to it.
Listen, on Friday, we are turning the page. Okay, right. let me add that caveat. Right. But dealing with adversity is something that this team, quite frankly, just didn't do well with last year, especially when the San Francisco 49ers kind of wrote the blueprint on how to attack the Eagles, and they let's just call it what it is. They were exposed. They were exposed due to a lack of coaching. Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, probably besides Saquon Barkley, let's put that he's on the field, probably the two most integral pieces going into the season to kind of turn this thing around. There's been a lot of like the Nick Sirianni. Is it Nick's offense? Is it not Nick's offense? Who's calling the plays? Is Nick even in the meetings anymore? That's been a storyline of the offseason all on its own. So how do you feel about that? How do you see that? Do you think Nick Sirianni is on a hot seat? Do you think he's on borrowed time? Do you think where are you at with him?
Before you get into that, that's a big question. That's a big question.
Okay,
you got some work to do. I think you can put a bet on it.
He wants to take a beat real quick.
I do want to take a beat. That's a big question. That is not a minute question, because now
you're saying that might take a couple minutes.
It might. 3 days. Okay. We're here for 3 days.
We better get a quick read in.
Well, it's never ordinary. And whenever the moment, thank you for the segue. Right on the 15 mark. This is this thing in the first show where you kind of got to work it out. So I appreciate it. It's an assist.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Air
Scotty.
bump.
Oh, man. Whenever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. Bet365 live streams 780,000 events each year. Early payout offers across NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting. Today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Now, because it's football season, they got some football offers. Naturally, you have to, right? It's never ordinary at Bet365. See yourself with SPG's Sunday offer. Place qualifying parlay bets totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL game and get $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply. Download the app and use code. This is important. You got to use the code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whenever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. In fact, they got a Thursday night kickoff special that they're calling their Thursday night touchdown offer. Place qualifying parlay bets totaling $20 or more on tomorrow night's game and get bonus bets for every touchdown. Terms and conditions apply. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. And of course, you got to read off the terms and conditions, right? Because that's the important part. Download the Bet365 app. Use promo code PHLY365 when you sign up. You get $200 in bonus bets. You see, I always miss out on the bonus bets. I always get jealous, hearing about the bonus bets, because if you already signed up, you don't get this. I might have to use another email and get another account so I can get $200 in bonus bets when I bet $5. That's it. You bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets. Whenever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and over and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And once again, that's Bet365. I appreciate the assist there, BG.
The air bump, the assist.
The air bump. Bump to you.
So you should both air bump me real quick, because once in a while, things just line up.
Yeah.
Once in a while, marriage just happens. It's so beautiful and so perfect. And one of those marriages just happened when you asked me to do a Miller Lite read. Let me tell you something real quick. This is real life here.
It's right? Where is he going?
I want you to imagine yourself. It'll be this Friday night. You're sitting in your couch, right? Because we're not at the game, right? You're sitting in your couch. You got your spread. You got your food. You're comfortable. You're ready to go. The bird's about to kick off. Tell me, in this beautiful world we live in, there is a more perfect sound than cracking open that cold Miller Lite. I swear to the good Lord, this is a beer that I have found my way back to. I am 43 years old. I have had every beer. These lips have graced every type of beer you can get. I'm talking about your old schools. I'm talking about your sours, your stouts. I'm a sour fan. Your IPAs. Everybody's just catching up on the IPA bandwagon, and that's great, and I did that 15 years ago. I've matured, and I find myself right back home to the cold Miller Lite, right? You know it's the truth, too, because it's great taste, and it's less filling. You don't have to choose what's best. I love what it says this. It tastes like Miller time, because that's what I say every single time. What time is it?
Miller
Tastes
time.
like Miller time.
Miller
It's a
time.
fine Pilsner, it is. Get your Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Birds, or you can find it at pretty much any spot that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. This is the part where you say you got to get to the tendencies. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. It's a lot of calories for me. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. I tell you what, like I said, just because Julia told me I could do this. So if I get canned, then it's not my fault. But
okay, so while Jason chugs his beer,
I was going to say,
it's going to be a good show.
You want to just leave for a minute and give him some time alone?
It's going to be a good show.
Seems really worked up over here.
It was getting a little weird. It was getting a little weird.
I mean,
I've never seen a man. Now, granted, his read infinitely better than my read.
I mean,
however,
have you ever dated a read before? Because
no.
obviously,
however,
you haven't taken one out to
listen.
You
I
know.
play a lot of
got
softball.
a little uncomfortable.
I play a lot of softball, and this is our beer.
He's talking
choice
about
on
his
bleachers.
lips touching other things.
It looked like LL Cool J. He just up here smacking.
Trying different flavors.
I'll even go pinky up. I have no qualms. Y'all can make fun of me all you want. I'm enjoying myself a fresh beverage.
It's always Miller time.
Well, you enjoy that Miller Lite. We're going to get back to enjoying talking about Eagles football.
I love it.
Where was I? We were talking about the coaching.
Kellen Moore.
Kellen
Our expectations for Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. What does that mean?
So let me start because I'm going to be super negative and realistic, and you guys can come in and be positive.
Why is it always negative and realistic come in the same sense?
Because people confuse objectivity with negativity.
Yes, because this is Negadelphia, and you're like the happiest person on earth sometimes, like it's Disneyland. So when I say something, people look at me like I'm crazy. Correct. But I do sound crazy right now. Last year was abysmal. It was one of the worst things that ever happened in human existence, right? It was like the apocalypse coming down upon us. Not just us, the team, the city, the fans. It was abysmal. Then you have an offseason where you don't get any answers. You don't know who's in trouble, who did it, who didn't. People are retiring. People are leaving their speeches. Oh, what are we going to do? Then it's Howie season, and you feel better about yourself. You stop crying a little bit. Then you come back in. The coach doesn't like the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't like the coach. Who's friends with who? You don't know what's going on. And everybody's upset because nobody's even playing in the preseason. So I had the preseason. I don't even know what's really going on. I know Saquon juking and duking on the sidelines in practice, but we really don't know. So I haven't had a real time to come out of the depression of the way that the season ended last year. The biggest collapse in history. I got to hear pundits, regular people that don't know nothing about sports asking me what happened all summer long. So going into this season, we don't have any answers yet. And I tell you what, just to give you a little caveat to it, the Packers sucked last year. They were 9-8. They went out there and they beat the Dallas Cowboys, who we all know beat themselves. Then they go out there and lose a game where Jordan Love, who everyone anoints and gave him all this money, threw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, could barely throw 30 yards. Can I tell you about their negativity and how they collapsed at the end of their season when they were up in that game and they should have won and fixed the problem for everybody in America, but they didn't. They fell apart. So what about their offseason, right? They got to worry about it too. But I tell you one thing, the real thing we got, you keep talking, we going to turn the page. We ain't turn that page until they blow these fools out or get this George W. and come on. Because if they lose down there in Brazil, the whole turning the page is going to be flipped back in that book. So they better get this George W. And that's where I'm at with it. I ain't got no resolution until I get a dub under my belt. Now I'm going to sit back down and calm down. So you got me all worked up with your little lip smacking and stuff like that.
You need a Miller Lite.
I do need a Miller Lite. Now it's Miller time.
Now you understand, like in the beginning when we was like, I'm not saving the energy for these fools. I'm not saving the energy. I'm not even talking to these guys. I don't even want to look at them, fist bump them. I don't know what Jason's talking about with his beer over there. It's weirding me out.
He's
going to wait till his turn and then bring you the energy. So what happens? Okay, let's say it's a high scoring game. They look good. They lose.
Are you asking gritty?
I'm asking gritty.
No,
as a regular person,
because I don't know if you can slow that down.
As a regular person, I'll be okay. As a regular person, I'll be okay. But the fan base will be, you have 9 whole days. You can't lose this game and come home to Philadelphia. Yeah. You're playing on a Friday. That leaves Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you got to count the days down like you don't know how many days it is till the next game? It's a problem here, bro. Negadelphia will be out in full force saying, we'll see it carried over and now you don't want that headache.
Yeah, I don't know if I share. I get what you're saying. I do.
I don't feel. I said I wouldn't feel that way. I'm saying that's the reality of the city.
Well, that's Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're going to ring alarms with a loss, sure, but I think a lot of it goes into it. Like context matters, right? What happened in the game? What is everybody quote unquote going to be bitching about if they lose, right? So I'll say that for Vic and for Kellen, they better get it right through the course of 17. That look, if they start playing their best ball in November, if they kind of get a little sloppy in the beginning, maybe they come out to like 3-3, 4-4, but they start playing their best ball in November, I'm good with that. I don't care about, you want to start 10-1 and then go down the stretch in similar fashion as last year? No. So I care less about how they start and more about how they're playing November, December. That's just the old school Andy Reid mentality. It's not even old school, but it's becoming old school. But that's the way Andy's teams always played, right? Started playing their best ball in the later winter months, heading into the postseason. Yeah. So, I mean, that said, I want to see flashes. Yeah. I want to see, okay, there's some wrinkles. Okay, this offense is really moving. Okay, Kellen Moore is worth his salt. Okay, Jalen Hurts is taking that step. I want to see those things. Again, my concern is less on the offensive side and more on the defensive side. And unfortunately, while we knew Sean Desai and Matt Patricia just didn't have it, I like Vic Fangio. I like his style, and obviously he's the godfather, if you will.
Of the defense they've been trying to create for years.
I just don't know that outside of the secondary, which I think they did a phenomenal job of revamping.
Yes.
Outside of that secondary, I just don't know that he's got the horses to do what he wants to do. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I have concerns on the defensive side, the entire front seven.
Yeah. You're a Howie guy, though. You got to believe.
I am a Howie guy.
You got to believe. He's out there seasoning. He puts that shit on everything.
Yeah. Oh, here we go back to the seasoning.
Howie's seasoning.
Back to the seasoning. No, massive concern. So while I'll say with the coordinators to put a bow on it, they better get it right. I think Vic Fangio has a taller hill to climb. Yeah. Put it that way. So he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Now, you said something interesting that kind of like stuck with me right at the top of the pod, which is like, okay, normally we are accustomed to, we're used to kind of the defense looking, the offense looking a little sloppy, right? They got to kind of get things together. Nick Sirianni historically doesn't like to put his starters in, and they're a little rusty when they get out there. A couple 3-and-outs, they don't look crisp. And it's usually the defense that carries, the team through the first couple games while, the offense is trying to work out the kinks and figure it out. Dude, I couldn't agree more. It's going to be the exact opposite. Like, the reason the offense was not on the starting offense was not on the field preseason, and you saw guys going late in the games all throughout the preseason on defense was like, listen, not only do they got a new defensive coordinator, it should relatively be the same system. They've been playing off the Godfather system all this time. Now they actually got the Godfather to implement the system. But man, the defense has got me. White isn't traveling with the team, right?
Irrelevant.
You really think that's irrelevant?
I really think it's
irrelevant.
His ankle.
His ankle's injured.
Sure it is.
He's hurt.
Sure it is.
You think
he's banged up?
Oh wait, so you telling me there's something else behind this?
I'm telling you.
No, that's what they said. That's what the internet told me. I got the internet.
But what is Black Gritty telling me?
It tells me we've never had a linebacker since the last. When's the last time we had a linebacker? So do I care about the linebacker? I don't know. Does the linebacker even matter? Like, was White going to come in and do something? What did he do last year?
Great.
Besides talking, the hype of him talking and saying, "Fill your cup, Jalen. I'm in a text group." What has he done in the in the offseason? Like, I don't know. He did nothing last year. So him not being there and everybody freaking out, I'm like, bro, we haven't had a linebacker for the last 6 years, and now all of a sudden this dude staying home is a problem for you? Well, let's go, N'Kobe. Let's go see these Georgia dogs hunt. Like, what are we talking about?
Honestly, I couldn't agree. Again, this is terrible because I couldn't agree more. It's like the question I would have for people is, what were you realistically expecting out of White? Like, when he signed that, why didn't Tampa Bay extend him as a first-round pick? Why didn't Tampa Bay, if they're not going to extend him, even at some point try to re-sign him for some sort of, just something to kind of hang on to him? There's a reason guys become free agents. We all forget that. There's a reason they didn't want him. What were you realistically expecting out of White? He's had, what was it, 2020 was his best year? I think it was 2020 his best year, right? When they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I will give Devin White, and this is no shade at all, because I want the best for him. I want him to succeed, not only selfishly because it means the Eagles finally got a linebacker, but just for his own arc, right? Because I've heard him talk, I've heard his words. I think he's a genuine dude. I think he wants to prove the league wrong, and I get that. It's a story that I can get behind. But outside of being a dominant pass-rushing linebacker, something Vic Fangio doesn't do a lot of, what is it that we thought we were getting out of Devin White in terms of he's not a complete linebacker. He struggles in coverage. He struggles in space, incredibly athletic and can get after the quarterback. Not a great tackler. Is going to be a liability in so many sets that what were you really getting, right? So I think I don't know if we got bamboozled. I don't know if, because he's getting all the reps at one in preseason, in camp, and we're hearing all these stories, but it remains to be, and always has been, this is why I say it's irrelevant, the linebacker position has me shook. I don't know why so many people are so confident about a bunch of hopes. And I've said this to you guys before. You hope that White can resurrect his career and show that he's worth something. You hope that N'Kobe Dean can finally kind of prove that he's worth his draft billing or what we're being sold that he is. You hope that Zach Bond could be more than a special teamer. You hope that Trot can be a flash of his dad, albeit a completely different player. Just give me that flash. So many hopes and dreams on this linebacker core, and I don't buy any of them.
So he said the hopes and dreams, and I'll tell you another thing about that. Because it's Philadelphia, PHLY has a little thing set up called diehards. Now, I mean, talk about hopes and dreams and believing in something. If you become a diehard, you get to be inside the inner circle. You get on the Discord. You're getting 20% off of clothing, apparel. You're getting all the early invites. You get to get off of Twitter and talk to real Philadelphia folks about Philadelphia things. All those hopes and dreams my man's talking about, you know you've had them. You know you live that way. allphly.com, that's where you go to sign and become a diehard. All day long, you know, you got the Roku. If some people are like, I don't even have Roku. If you got a smart TV, check and see if you got a Roku app. You could be watching us live right now on the big screen instead of on your phone on the toilet. I know where you're watching the show at. I'm just saying, you can put it on the 57 inch, you know what I mean, and live this lifestyle the way we want to live it. Because they give it to you on the Roku. If you ain't got Roku, I know you got YouTube. You can probably put that on your TV too. All day long, you know what I mean? You start off with now Marks. Johnny Marks. Shout out to you, Johnny Marks. You start the show. You start the day off, actually. And then you roll into the Cubs. Then you got football, basketball, hockey. I mean, Penn State even out to all day long shows. Go ahead and get yourself a little taste of PHLY. Become a diehard. Let them hopes and dreams live in you. Because that's Philadelphia. And that's what we do. PHLY.com. I don't know if you heard the website, but go check it out. 20% off. Get your boy a t-shirt. You getting a discount. I'm not. I just work here.
You good?
I'm good.
Did you get it out?
I'm proud of that.
All right, Julia, we are now discovering something like right in episode 1 that needs to be a precedent for the remaining of the episodes, right?
Yep.
EROCK is not allowed to do reads anymore because I'm sitting here stumbling over my words, looking at my phone trying to do this read. This guy's making love to a beer can, and this guy's talking hopes and dreams, and I'm just sitting here feeling foolish. Speaking of feeling foolish, you asked, like, what did you expect by White? I feel a little foolish. I was expecting D'Amico Ryans. That's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting, a bona fide middle linebacker to lead this defense.
You know what's funny about that?
What?
You're probably blinded by the sun. Go ahead, put them shady rays on.
That's what I was going to say.
My God.
He got, the lights are too bright
Too
in here,
bright for my
and he
guy.
got shook for a second, started going right back into the dialogue.
What did you tell me you thought you saw right there, E-Rock? What'd you say? Get the man some shady rays.
You seeing the wrong thing.
Give my man
No. Because when the lights get bright, you throw on them shady rays, my guy. That's what you do. Look, these, I'm telling you, all right, these are top notch. These are class A. Why are they class A? Because the real deal is you can get these stylish. First of all, the fit, right? You got if you don't have the fit, it ain't gonna work. They got to be polarized. But most importantly, you know me, they ain't gonna break the bank. Why? Because your boy JA is a little bit frugal. That's why I'm always sipping on Miller Lite and loving it. The real deal is when I buy shades and I spend $1 on them, I lose them, I break them, I can't find them, they get stolen. And that's where Shady Rays has your back because they've got the most insane protection program that you're going to find. You lose them, you break them, you can't find them, they got you covered. You buy them, you don't like them, you've got 30 days to get your money back. I promise you there's absolutely no risk. You won't return them, just try not to lose them. But either way, they're in the bag. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving away their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code PHLY for 35% off some polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself what I've already tried, and 300,000 other people have tried, and grab yourself some 5-star rated Shady Rays. Now, I will provide these to my partner so we can get a sense of Shady Rays and get your mind right.
What you say that linebacker look like? What you say he look like? Who you think you saw out there?
Who we look like now?
Huh?
Come on.
What do they look like?
Get your mind right. Let's roll back into the show.
Okay. Shout out to Real Prince Blue in the chat too. If you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Oh, I love that dude.
Real Prince Blue is awesome. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can chat with us right as this show is going right on PHLY. And he was just talking about so we should feel that way about Barkley over every free agent we drool over. They're free agents for a reason? ? No, that's because the Giants screwed the pooch on that entire situation.
No,
and we were the benefit.
Look, it's a valid point because yes, obviously we're a lot more excited about Saquon Barkley, and there are certain times when guys play it right. Like for example, no, never mind. I was about to go into a Dak rant. I'm not going to do it. But there are certain times where either organizations screw a guy over or they say, I'm going to test the market. But by and large, you're a free agent for a reason. You don't do it with everybody. I get it. There are those little gems, Prince. But I think with a guy like White, everybody knows it.
And there's a 1,000% difference between Saquon on the market and White on the market. White did have one shining moment. He had his good year, and he didn't get to capitalize on that. And for whatever reason, I'm going to yell a lot about guys, and I'm going to take personal shots sometimes randomly. But I will say this: they are human beings. They are regular people. Some people out there, having a stressful time. They might have family that is sick or injured. There are other things that come involved in these guys' lives other than he didn't hit the block, bro. He's got a regular life just like you do. And when you go to your job at McDonald's and sometimes you don't put enough salt on the fries because your grandma's sick, you know what I mean? Let these guys breathe a little bit sometimes. And I'm talking to myself too, because I do get on people. But they're human beings. The things
just put the fries in the bag.
You know what I mean? Right? Just do your job. Just do your job. But they are human beings. I don't know what's going on with them. But he was at an elite level, and he has taken a step back. So he's got to get back to that form. And hopefully he can here, because like you said, that's what we all hope. That's what we all want.
It answers our problem, right? It answers our prayers and solves our problem. But I just personally, I say it's irrelevant, not as a knock to him, but just because I didn't have big expectations for him in the first place. It was more of, hey, I'd be pleasantly surprised. But to my earlier point, I just look at this linebacker core and say, ooh, that's going to be a problem this year.
Well, the Saquon thing is a perfect transition into the offense, because the offense is like, I don't want to say inadvertently shrouded in like friggin' mystery, because is it Nick's offense? Is it Kellen's offense? We all know it's Kellen's offense, but they did not play a lick in the preseason. We got a little. The people who were at Eagles open practice, I don't know if you guys were.
Nope.
The people that were at Eagles open practice, like my jaw hit the floor watching 11 on 11, starting offense versus starting defense, because all of a sudden you were seeing, well, is number one under center? Oh my God. Is that motion? I almost forgot what motion looked like at Lincoln Financial Field with dudes wearing green. I forgot what it looked like. So good and bad, because believe it or not, there is some bad going into it. What are your expectations of the Eagles offense?
Of the offense?
Yes.
I mean, you're lying to yourself if you don't have, or you're being that traditional Negadelphian. Not objective, but just straight Negadelphian. If you don't have high expectations for the offense, I mean, pick your poison. Yeah. I still think even with Jason Kelce gone, they still have one of the better lines in the NFL. I don't know that it's a top 3 offensive line anymore, but it's still one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. And dude, just pick your poison. Yeah. You want A.J. Brown to be somebody? If they go man, A.J. Brown will beat you one-on-one, or Devontae Smith will beat you one-on-one, or Jahan Dotson will beat you one-on-one, or Dallas Goedert will beat you one-on-one, or we're going to get Saquon Barkley out in the flats. So for me, it's just it all boils down to Jalen Hurts, and that's the scary part about the whole situation. Is this is that make or break it year for him, where, bro, it's on the table.
Yeah, like
the world is your oyster. Make the reads, make the calls, and the buzzword in Philadelphia anymore is find your hot, right? Where's your check? Understand where your pressure's coming from. It all comes down to him. If he can do that, I don't know why this can't be a top 3 offense in the NFL. I just. What would have to happen outside of injury? Is it that, look, either Kellen's offense isn't what we think it is, or Jalen's not the dude? One of those two things would have to happen for them not to be, I don't want to say prolific, but one of the better offenses in the NFL.
So you said something earlier that annoyed me in general, because not to have
I say a lot that annoys you.
Not to have the whole media conversation of Super Bowl or bust. But it is Super Bowl or bust. When Howie goes out and he sprinkles all these seasons like he did on the offense, you have to score points. And in my lifetime, besides when I was a baby, the only time we go to the Super Bowl is when the Eagles are running over everybody from beginning to the end. We're not the Manning where we come in 9-8 and have a one run trip in the postseason. No, when McNabb went there, why? T.O. came here and shut everybody down. He finally got a wide receiver, and we cakewalked everybody all year long. You don't like Carson Wentz? Shut your mammy Jamie mouth. That dude helped us get a Super Bowl. We were out there 33 points a game, walking the dog in the fourth quarter, hanging out eating Scooby snacks because this dude was up so big. And 13-3, going there with a broken leg to secure us the bye week, okay? When Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl. What did he do? Punched everybody in their mouth on the way to the Super Bowl. So I need you to come out here and punch them in the mouth. You need to score these points. And you need to score them every single week because the defense is weak. And the best way to make the defense look good is the same way that Miller Lite makes you feel good. A little anticipation does everything for you. If you go out there and you get up 15 or 20, I know they passing. Go ahead, Quinyon, get you a pick. A mid-play slate, go back to big play slate, take a chance, brother. We up 15. We up 15. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mid-play, even mid-play. Hey, Slate, because I know you're on the internet. You might see this. Love you. You are really good at your job, though. You've been holding them down, but you ain't been making the plays. They ain't been making plays on you, but you ain't been making the plays. You see what I'm saying? So mid-play slate, you still making plays. You just ain't making the big ones. So I'm saying. So we need to score points. This better be one of the best offenses I've seen. I went out and bought Madden this year. Only time I got Madden, when T.O.'s on the team, when Winston's quarterback went to the Super Bowl, and when Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl, and I got one this year because I got Saquon Barkley. Okay? I'm going to be running up and down the field, scoring 98 points a game, and they better do the same.
I just want to know what I said that annoyed him.
You said, I don't care how they start. I just want them playing their best at the end of the season. Nah, dog. I ain't been to a Super Bowl doing that. I done had a whole lot of comeback years feeling good in December and got trounced. I want to walk the dog all year long. Sure. That's what I need. Super Bowl, but I'm just saying, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but it's what I need. It's what I want a Super Bowl appearance. I want a Super Bowl win. And that's how the Eagles get there. I ain't seen no other way.
I'll tell you what. I'll be straight with you. That's the better way to go. That's the more fun way. We all enjoy those seasons. Don't
I ain't
we?
seen no other way in the Eagles. When's the last time you seen a different way for the Eagles? You haven't seen it.
You haven't seen them get there. I mean, they dog walked some team. Or I'm sorry, they 01, 02, 03. They fought their whole way. Didn't get there. I get it. Came down to a play here and there. They were a mid team. At 08. And came up one drive short of the Super Bowl.
All I'm telling you is I need to get to the Super Bowl. I don't need to get close. I want to crack that beer.
You just want to get there?
You just holding the beer. I want to crack that thing. You know what I'm saying?
This thing's cracked. Don't worry about that. This is cracked.
Hey, let me tell you something. When I go out and ask a girl for her number and she gives it to me, at least I got a chance. If I sit there and don't ask her, I ain't even got a chance. I'm just looking at somebody pretty. So give me the number and give me a chance. Get me to the Super Bowl. I need a chance.
I wouldn't even know how to do that anymore. I wouldn't even know how to do that anymore.
I can help you out.
I've been retired from that game for a long time.
So maybe that's reflective of my football opinions now. I can't get numbers.
I'm still in these streets working, so I know how it is out here. You know what I mean? I'm in these streets.
So you said something, and I got to make a confession because it feels like in this first episode we're kind of confessing things unannounced to each other. We learned today that Jason's horny for beer.
I know. I'm out too. I'm out. Is that a problem?
We've already found out.
It's all good.
Black Gritty has confessed that Jason Ashworth annoys him. That's okay.
It's only week one, too.
It's only
wait till we get to week 18.
See, this how he turned on you, America. I said one thing he said annoyed me. Now he just annoys me. See how they try to get me, America? See, this is wrong with the media. You see, they take one word and they turn it into something else.
But we're not media. We're three fans. We're three fans just talking about the media.
It sounds media-like to me.
Here's what I want to confess. And this is completely unplanned, but I was thinking about it on the drive-in. Here's what I want to confess. What you just said, that Jalen Hurts thing, scares the shit out of me, man.
As it should.
I mean, I will never see a quarterback more set up for success within the history of the Philadelphia Eagles than I've seen Jalen Hurts set up for this exact year. They signed the two receivers. You don't have to worry about that. And we're spoiled right now. We're sitting in a position of being spoiled because we have those offensive weapons. Smitty, AJ, that is a luxury that we bitched and moaned about for years on end because we didn't have good enough receivers, right? We can go all the way back to McNabb. Then they got Dotson, right? This might be the best wide receiver trio in the NFL, and it's certainly, in my books, the best wide receiver trio the Philadelphia Eagles have ever had. You combine that with Dallas Goedert. You combine that with Saquon Barkley. You finally got a running back, okay? So you don't got to run the ball as much. It's an every down back. The defense is not going to be tipped off. Thank you, San Francisco 49ers. The defense is not going to be tipped off on what play it is based upon your running back rotation. You got a guy that can run the rock between the tackles, swing outside, catch the ball, and pass protect, all right? So you got an every down back. I understand that Cam Jurgens is taking the place of the legendary Jason Kelce, but there is no other position that he could be in other than better than being handpicked by Jason Kelce, okay? Sitting behind Jason Kelce, okay? And then playing next to Jason Kelce to help him prepare for this role. I know that Jalen's going to be taking on a lot more of the protection calls and the blitz calls and all that. My biggest fear as we roll into this season is that despite the offensive weapons and despite what, listen, you can talk about the interior offensive linemen, specifically Cam and specifically Beck, but, you know, it's still a great offensive line. You bring in Kellen Moore, the best offensive mind possible to bring in that moment, a guy who interviewed for the head coaching position before it was given to Nick Sirianni. You've set up Jalen. You've got to remember the Carson Wentz thing. I don't want to harken back to all that. You brought up Wentz, so I'm going to blame you. You know, the contract thing was kind of, here's a contract so you feel better about yourself. There is nothing that the Philadelphia Eagles could do more than to put Jalen Hurts in a position to win, and I am terrified.
All right,
that it's not going to.
Let's zone in on that then.
Okay, let's zone in. Talk me off the
recliner. Let's just back you out on that couch. Let's talk. So the reality, you're right. Yeah. I hear everything that you just explained. So why are you scared? How does that make you feel? What is it that you're afraid of?
Because despite the offensive weapons and despite everything that they've done, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. So despite all of this, if Jalen Hurts isn't the guy and doesn't absolutely dominate and kill it this year, we are back to square one.
So I'm going to help you out.
Philadelphia can't have nice things.
You're totally fine. I'm going to help you out.
Philadelphia cannot have toys.
No, I'm going to help you out.
Okay.
I sleep very well during the day. Talk about personal
during the day. My man goes to bed at 9 a.m.
Personal tidbit. I do. I go to sleep. I go to bed usually like 6 a.m. I usually sleep till noon or till 3 or 4. But I sleep during the day. I don't close my shades. So I sleep so well in the daytime because Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. Jalen Hurts has Philadelphia on his ass every single day. He doesn't change his demeanor. He doesn't change his tune. Somebody like Herbert out here is getting all this love and attention. Dude's done nothing but throw 5 interceptions in the postseason. Trevor Lawrence, 5 interceptions in the postseason. They both got paid more than Jalen Hurts. They've never done anything. But the national media, regular media, and sometimes even our fans want to anoint them and give them grace where they don't give it to Jalen Hurts, who took us to a Super Bowl. This man in college did nothing but win. And when he didn't win, with a real general, a real head coach, one of the greatest coaches God has ever put on this green earth, sat him down. He cheered on his replacement, helped him out, and was the first person on the field to hug him when they won a championship. Then he went to another state, went to another school, learned under another general under conflict, and succeeded in one there. Didn't win it all, but he won. All he does is win. All the credit you want to give Nick Sirianni with his credit for the people that want to stick up for this guy who can't read off a Scooby-Doo rapper sometimes because he answers weird questions. You want to give him credit for all the wins? Well, all I know is Jalen Hurts' record is like 97-5 when he plays football games and he starts them healthy. So, and that's what's losing 6 games. So I don't know really what you want more than a guy who just wins on every single level, sits in Philadelphia where everything you say is broken down and broken apart. He's buying air conditioners for the kids. He's out here listening to Anita Baker. He got it going on. If you want to see him smile, ask him about, have a woman ask him a question first of all. Sometimes dudes ask a question, you want to see the man smile. This guy is cool, calm, and collected. He's got his best friend at wide receiver. He's the godfather of the child. He's going to go out there and do what he did like he led us to a Super Bowl already. He's one of the only ones out here not getting questions. Joe Burrow has been broken back mountain for like 3 years in a row. He went to one Super Bowl and beat Patrick Mahomes, and my goodness, we can't let his greatness go. But somehow I got to question Jalen Hurts, take a nap, leave the shades on, and believe in this man that has been given the gifts and the fruits from the Howie seasoning. Let us eat.
Look, I don't even.
I'm just saying. Right? Do you feel better?
I'm saying it.
Okay.
I feel better about it.
All right. That's how I want you to feel about Jalen Hurts.
I feel like we should wrap the show up now. I don't know how to keep talking. The reality is, I'm scared. I share your fear. Okay. But it's not. It has nothing to do with. Do I think he's a winner? It has not. I like him. I like him.
Yeah.
I was all for them drafting him in the second round, and I got kicked back. I
was wrong about that.
I got heat for that.
I was wrong about that.
I was on board because of everything that you just said. He's a winner. right? I was not as high on Carson Wentz as others were. And when I had a platform to share my opinions on that, and I shared my opinions, I got heat for said opinions. And, we see where we sit today. The reason that I'm scared is because I like him. The reason that I'm scared is because I want him to succeed. Because for everything that you say, I believe in him. I think he's got the right demeanor. I think he's got the right attitude. I think he's galvanizing in a locker room, even despite some of the stories we heard last year. I think he's open to coaching. I think that his teammates believe in him. I think he's got the skill set. I don't understand some of the critiques about him not being able to throw over the middle of the field. And I have buddies that tell me that he's got no touch on his deep ball. And I sit back and I think, what the hell are you guys watching? What am I seeing that you're not seeing? Or what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? So all this to say that when I get invested in players, there are certain I was invested in Randall Cunningham, and that didn't work out for me, but I still loved him. He's my favorite player. I got invested in Donovan McNabb. And sure, he's remembered as the greatest quarterback in Eagles history, but we know what that relationship was like in Philadelphia, despite what he did, or in some cases did not do on a football field. I'm invested in Jalen Hurts. I am personally pulling for Jalen Hurts. I have run my mouth about Jalen Hurts. It has been the trust me, bro, about Jalen Hurts. So for me, it's no longer like, what's my excuse going to be at the end of the year? No, they couldn't figure out right guard. I've got no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse.
Right.
The only deficiency they may have is at right guard. He's got everything else identified, from an offensive coordinator to a solid offensive line to every weapon you would want to have. It all boils down to Jalen Hurts, and that scares me because it's a put up or shut up year. And I'm just a little tentative because I'm not ready to shut up. So please put up.
I love it. I love it. And listen, we're going to get into the season predictions. But that thought infiltrated my season predictions, right? Because I do think Jalen can handle calling the protection at the line. There's absolutely protections are not a foreign thing to Jalen Hurts.
That was a blown out of pocket.
Absolutely.
I really do think so.
Even so, Kelsey even brought it up because when you're younger, you do need more help. Travis said when Pat came in there, he's like, I can't read defense. Somebody was telling him what the defense was coming out. There's certain things that they do to try and help bring you along faster.
Right.
And having someone like Kelsey, who as knowledgeable as he is, henceforth the job that he has now and the mind that he has, you lean on that. Now that that's gone, it's also not a crutch for you as a quarterback. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that situation. You can just go ahead and lean on the knowledge that you have. So that was blowing upwards. You're right. He's ready to step up. He's under center. We got motion, new offense. We're doing fun things. So
yeah, I have absolutely no fear about Jalen reading calling the protection and anything like that. This is not his first rodeo. All right. He had the benefactor. He was the benefactor of having Jason Kelsey, who's an absolute legend. But you remember, there was that famous, I absolutely loved it, when they were playing and Jason Kelsey is looking over his shoulder, telling Jalen Hurts no, because he's calling something different. Jason didn't run it, but ultimately, who did they listen to? They listened to Jalen. And ultimately, who got the first down? Jalen Hurts. So this is not the first time that Jalen Hurts is going to be calling all those things. And it's also, too, can he read a blitz? I don't think it was a matter last year of Jalen reading the blitz. I think schematically, they just simply did not have the answers for it. Every passing play was a long developing route. I saw it on the Bills game. Jalen is under duress. Why aren't the receivers working back to the ball? You can't tell me that Smitty and AJ don't know how to work back to the ball. So I kept watching the routes, and they weren't even done with the routes by the time Jalen was getting hit. So I don't think it was a matter of Jalen can't read the blitz. I really think that when you boil everything down of what happened last year, which, yes, we are going to turn the page, or at least after the Birds get this dub on Friday, we can all collectively turn the page, right?
Yep.
I think when you boil everything down, it was a coaching issue. And as excited I am for Saquon and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being back and everything they did to this fortify the defensive backfield, whatever it might be, my two things that I'm most exciting about are competent, not even competent, but the best possible assistant coaches that they could bring in, which is why I don't give a damn about, is it Nick Sirianni's offense? What's Nick's role? What's Nick's doing? What meeting is Nick in? I don't care about any of it. Vic's handling the defense. He's more than capable of doing it. Kellen Moore will be a head coach someday. He's more than capable of doing it. Let's go.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, I agree with where you're going. I don't even care dating back to last year if we talk about was it Jalen, was it coordinators, was it schematic? I don't care. I just don't care anymore. I just want to know that it's fixed. I just want to see going into week 1, all right, some things are figured out, ironed out. I don't care anymore because the reality is with everything, we're over here flapping our gums. We're over here talking about the linebacker core. Like, I know a damn. I have no idea.
You know.
You know.
Everybody know about the linebackers. Everybody know.
The reality is we don't know, right? So I don't know what went on in that locker room. I don't know what went on in those meeting rooms. I don't know if it was schematics. I don't know if Jalen wasn't making the right calls or wasn't optioning out. We have no idea. All I want to see come Friday is that is all behind us, that is something that we won't have to experience again. Let's keep that in the past. We've corrected it moving forward. Now let's get on to some football games. That's, to your point, that's all I care about. I don't give a damn about 2023 and who was doing what.
I care. I don't want to care. I do care. I won't stop not caring until we get the dub. We get the dub, then I can say I don't care. I'm telling you, something goes wrong and we don't start off right, everybody's going to care. Ain't nobody, I told you, we got 10 days sitting around with number questions. Get this George W, dog. I need it. We need it. I need it. You say you don't care. Let them lose in a weird fashion. You're going to care about everything. What socks were they wearing? I don't know if they had the right cleats on. I'm saying there's a whole lot of things that people care about in football games they talk about. And you telling me, get this George W. Get it. We need it.
So on that, I'm going to start with you. Give me a prediction on the game on Friday. Are the Birds going 0-1 or 1-0?
34-27 Birds.
Okay.
If it's any higher than that, my record for the season will go higher. If they outscore them by 10 plus, my prediction for the year will go up exponentially.
All right. I like it.
The Packers are one of the tougher teams in the conference in NFC. I got the Lions, the 49ers, and the Packers. And the Packers only because they came on late last year. Like I said, they fell apart too. Now, all this Jordan Love, let's see. Because my man fell apart. He looked terrible in the last game he played, too. So I know everybody's trying to anoint them and crown them. The Bears out there on Hard Knocks look like they could throw a ball finally for the first time in my lifetime or the Bears' lifetime. So I don't know. But I'm saying right now, if you start off this year beating this team, one of the perennial teams in the conference, then that sets us up for smooth sailing for the rest of the year. We need it. He
needs this week 1 dub like he needs oxygen right now.
As much as I complain, I hate other people complaining. At least I do it eloquently. I'm funny when I complain. Other people just out here talking about, well, we never had a linebacker. We didn't have one, like you said. What you crying about? You knew we had no linebacker. You know what I mean? Howie can't cook everything, okay? He could fry some chicken. Dude can't bake a pie to save his life. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things he's not good at.
Just mixing it up the whole time.
Man, we need this win, dog.
He's serving everybody.
We need this win. Everybody's annoying me right now. It's football. It's
Jason
football.
Ashworth.
Yeah.
What say you Friday? Eagles, Packers, Brazil.
You know, I would like to say, and I will for the sake of it because I'm a Birds fan, right? So I'll go in the range of like a 33-26 type game where the score indicates a little bit of sloppiness somewhere. Missed extra point here. Maybe they go for 2 or just a litany of field goals or drives that stalled but still put up points and move the football. Again, because I think that this offense is going to put up points. I think if they don't put up points to your point, we're going to have 10 days of, oh boy, here we go. Right? So I'll give them their due and I'll say the offense does their job, but I do have question marks about the defense. I do think it comes down to the fourth quarter. And, either a late pick or some stop on defense. I think the Packers will hang around. Their offense is good enough and our defense is questionable enough that it will be a football game. But in Brazil, I'll take the Birds 33-26.
33-26, so very similar to BG over there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was going to say 34, and Homeboy came out and said it, so I'm going to drop a point and go 33.
I like it. Shout out to Bet365, right? Because right now the Birds are giving them 2.5 points.
2.5. Oh, we are. Whoa.
The over.
Home team.
The over.
Home game. We got that midnight green glasses.
Home game.
The over-under is 49.5.
Oh, wow. We are way off.
I have never seen an easier take on the over in my life.
Yeah.
There is no doubt in my mind that both these teams are scoring 30 plus. It will be the most entertaining game of the week because there is so much not on film, right? Once you start getting some tape on you, once you go 10-1 with Bobo coordinators, they got the film on you, they figured you out. Kellen Moore's offense, they're going to have to do a very deep dive into the Dallas Cowboys 2019 to 2022. They're going to have to take a deep dive on that tape, and then they're going to try to figure out how to defend against all these weapons. The Philadelphia Eagles offense is going to be a meat grinder. They are going to go through you, and ground beef is going to come out the other side. They are going to throw up so many points, not only on the Packers, but all season. And the whole success of the season is going to be dependent on that. The Packers are going to try them early. They're going to test them. They're going to say, can you beat the blitz? Because that was your Achilles heel last year. You didn't have an answer for it. So they're going to go after Jalen quickly. And that's when you're going to see the Goddards and Jalen scrambling. And this what the benefit of having a 3-down back like Saquon Barkley is. Right then and there when they try testing them on the blitz. And then they're going to have to back off of it because they're going to start getting burned over the top. Again, it's a pick your poison type of thing.
So you got the Birds? You didn't give a score. You sure?
Well, I'm saying they're good. Yeah.
What's your score? What's your score, Daddy?
Birds put up a 40.
What? A 40 pill?
Yep. Birds put up a 40.
Wait, who's been drinking in Miller Lite, me or you?
Well, that's why
this one's empty.
Yeah, no, it's been empty. I thought Julie was going to.
He's telling me like I came over to his table like I was serving him. Like, oh, is this empty?
I sprinkled that note.
It's been empty and you ain't getting no tip.
I sprinkled that earlier. I thought she was going to run out and grab another one. It never came.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, this beer is out. Is that a problem? Is that no?
Your eyes got really big when you said you've never seen a lower number before in your life. So when you said that, I was like, man, what numbers he got in his brain? Because your eyes were like, 49, I don't know. So if the Birds are putting up 49, we might hit 100 points, like 1,000 yards.
You're making me want to change mine, to be honest. I'm starting to go and the opposite way, because Vegas is Vegas for a reason, right? They're not in it to lose money.
Yeah.
So you got me starting to think more it's like a 29-20.
First week of the season, they're wrong a lot though. Vegas is.
They're not wrong when my money's involved.
I think it's going to be tight because listen, they got a new defensive coordinator. We got a new defensive coordinator. We got a lot of new pieces on defense. So all that is going to be very much tested. But I think at the end of the day, this is going to be two offenses just playing a game of Pong.
Yeah.
Like first one to 50 wins. I think that's and when I take a look at the offenses, I just have to lean on the side. Like again, on paper, stacked offense, too much talent not to win this game. Jordan Love, Packers, they're on the come up. They got a bright future ahead of them. But I think when it comes, again, when you deal with this Eagles offense, you are at least going to have to throw up 30 to even have a prayer of beating them. And there's offenses out there that can do it, especially against this defense, because I don't have a lot of faith in the defense. I just don't. This is what it is. I don't have a lot of faith in the defense. But the offense is going to be able to put up 30 points every single week.
They should be. I mean, that's the expectation.
Except when they play Baltimore.
Well, fair enough.
What's your record for the year? What do you got? What do you think?
12-5.
12-5.
I think we split with Dallas because that's just kind of what, Dallas has had our number. But I think we legitimately split with Dallas. I think the Baltimore game's a tough one. I think Cincinnati in Cincinnati is a tough one. And then we just end up losing 2 Bobo games a year. I mean, there's going to be like.
So you got them beating the Niners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you got, Jason?
Look, I think it's realistic that if they kind of stumble, they're in that like 9-10, 9-win, 10-win realm. If they overproduce and kind of exceed expectations, they're in that 13-win. I'm putting them at 11. I'm gonna give them 11-6.
That's a nice answer.
That's where I'm gonna be because I feel like I'm hedging my bets here. If they fall up a little short, that's around that 9-10. If they, you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go. I think 11-6. To your point, because there's gonna be a couple games that they just give away. We scratch our heads. Where did that happen? Like, how did that happen? All good. I think 11 is a pretty fair spot to fall on. Where are you coming at?
So 12 wins. Unless they blow out the Packers. They blow out the Packers, they're going 15-2. They blow out the Packers, they're going 15-2. You can book it. And they're only going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys and the Ravens because everybody in the NFC loses to the Ravens. It's just what it is. Lamar Jackson has this side of conference locked. But if they blow out the Packers if they win by more than 10 points, that's a blowout to me. They win by more than 10 points, man, put your money on the Birds because that means this offense is cooking. Woo, they cooking. It's Howie seasoning. Put that shit on everything. I'm telling you. Let's get it. Let's go.
Listen, before we wrap it up, because we could sit here and talk Eagles football for like easily next 2 hours and just get it all out of our systems before we have to, sit down at the link or at the PHLY watch party, right? Which you will. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
So he's putting me on the spot. We're at the end of the show. If you're watching live and you're in the chat, we appreciate you. You know why we appreciate you? Because that means you're a diehard. You hanging out. If you're a diehard, go to allphly.com. Get you a ticket for $40 for the watch party. They got unlimited wings, fries, pretzels, a couple beer drink tickets. You know what I mean? Get yourself one of these nice cool ones. You know what I mean? You might slurp them down like my boy. You can have one of my tickets if I show up. I think I might show up. I don't be drinking. I'm going to save one of my tickets for one of y'all. So if you're watching this, roll up to your boy, tap me on the shoulder, say, I'm a diehard. I'm going to give you one of my drink tickets. I'm going to bless you. You know what I mean? You get an extra drink with that $40 ticket that you purchased to come down because you know why? You're a diehard. It's the end of the show. You got things to do. It's a Wednesday. You don't want to be here with us, but you can't leave because you got hopes and you got dreams. allphly.com, $40. Holla at your boy. We in these streets, I'm telling you. Now go ahead and answer that last question you was about to ask. I apologize.
I asked you guys before the show.
I'm lost.
to give me one bold prediction on the year because I knew I was going to ask for 3. But I knew we were going to get to this point where we're well over an hour, and I want to tie a bow on it. So give me one bold prediction for the season. BG.
You want me to agree?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we already beat it up. I was going to tell you that I don't even think White is going to be healthy or not is going to be a starting linebacker on this team, and that Howie will be shopping at the deadline if they're competitive for a linebacker. But I'm going to let that one go because we spent time on it. The bold prediction I'll actually give you is by season's end, the number 1 wide receiver on this team will be Devontae Smith. I think that what Kellen Moore offers to this team and how they can move him around, I think he's the more versatile. I think he's going to eat. I really do. I'm not telling you that he is better than A.J. Brown. Obviously, I'm not telling you. I'm just saying statistically, I think Devontae Smith has his best season in the NFL, and that will equate to, on paper anyway, the number 1 wide receiver on this team.
BG.
So I said it earlier. I say it often because I believe it. Like I said, Slay, if you're ever watching this, I love you. But right now, you're mid-play Slay. But at the end of the year, I think mid-play is going to walk over to our new guy, Quinyon Adon, and bless him with the grace of having the power of the most interceptions on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm thinking my man come out with 6 to 42 picks. Okay? 6 to 42 picks. That's a wide. And like I said, big play is going to go over there and bless my man. I mean, it might be a chain. It might be a ring. It's going to be something to hook my young guy up because he is going to snatch the ball out of the sky. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm just telling you.
I love it. By season's end, the Philadelphia Eagles will have the number 1 ranked offense in points per game.
Is that bold?
Is that what he said? Bold. Boo this man.
You said bold.
You said bold.
You just got done saying
I didn't even
praises.
put the period at the end of the sentence.
Oh, my fault.
Because there wasn't a period.
All right.
There was a comma.
All right.
They will have the number 1 offense in points per game in the regular season on their way to their 2nd Lombardi trophy.
Well, that's bolder, my friend.
How's that for you?
That's bold.
That is bold. And that's what we're going to do here from the cheap seats, right? We're going to sit here. We're going to talk birds. We're going to talk Philly sports. We're going to make bold predictions. Jason's going to get freaky on some Miller Lights.
Is this a weekly thing now?
Well,
can I get the weekly spot?
It's going to have to be.
Can I bring my own?
I think he should have all the spots. Honestly, these guys absolutely
No. We're giving them all to Gritty.
No. I'm not sitting here and reading like Rocky Balboa. Like, if you can do it, bet 3, 9, 5, 3. I'm not doing it.
I'll just
dude.
give
You guys
Miller
like
Light and
ease
Shady
right
Rays.
into it.
Miller Light and Shady Rays. That's what I want.
If we don't rotate sponsors, I'm talking to HR. I can't just be sitting up here, my man, going on date night with these Miller Lights every week. We're going to talk to HR.
Yeah, so we thank you guys for tuning in to this first episode. There was a little bit of bumps, but hey, It's only going to get better from here, just like the Philadelphia Eagles. It's only going to get better from here. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate PHLY for having us here, and we will see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
And one last thing, I know we just closed out. Shout out to the Philly Schwarbombs raining over Baghdad out the country. Schwarbombs, oh, we back, baby. Bryce, get a nap. You need some rest. Sleep during the day. Help yourself. Heal up.
Fade the milk. Fade the black.
We all silly like the mayor.